Which is
We'll be
weird.
his
Councilmember
liaison.
Schultz, this is Robert Scott. Can you hear me right now?
Does not look like it.
Looks like no. Okay.
Unless we want to pop out.
But he can hear the meeting room, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It might be upsetting. You know how Zoom is.
Zoom is great.
Possible. We're ready when
Can we
you're
just
ready.
leave the phone on the way it is right now?
Yeah.
I can hear you and I can. Oh,
Good afternoon. It's 4:32 2 p.m. on Tuesday, July 5th, 2022. We will call the City Council meeting for the City of New Ulm to order. We do have item number 1, a public notice to conduct meeting by interactive technology. Motion?
I'll offer a motion to approve.
Second?
We have motion to approve and receive an order, file the public notice notifying that due to out-of-town travel, Councilmember Les Schultz will be joining
Okay.
remotely and attending the New Ulm City Council meeting via Zoom in accordance with Minnesota statutes 13D.02. Welcome, Councilor Schultz. Item number 2, consent agenda. Councilors, what are your wishes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Those in favor, say, Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Does it? Okay. Hold on. Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz, President Becker,
Yes. We'll just
well, I'll just mark him as
assume, yes, is absent for now.
Yeah.
And then we should probably do the same for item number 1 also. So we did have a motion and a second for item number 1.1. Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz. Yet? No. President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 3.1, off-site raffles gambling permit for New Ulm Youth Wrestling.
I'll offer the resolution, waive the reading, approving the issuance of a lawful gambling permit for New Ulm Youth Wrestling to conduct off-site raffles gambling at the New Ulm Country Club, 1 Golf Drive on Monday, July 18th, 2022.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz. Anything? Counselor or President Becker.
Motion is carried. Item number 3.2, raffles gambling permit for New Ulm Area Catholic Schools.
I'll make a motion to approve the issuance of a lawful gambling permit for New Ulm Area Catholic Schools to conduct raffles gambling at the New Ulm Country Club, 1 Golf Drive on Monday, August 1st, 2022.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? My only question is, did we need a resolution for the first one because it was off-site gambling? Is that the difference? Because one,
Yes.
okay, I just wanted to confirm that. All right. Any other discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz, President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 3.3, a kennel license for Minnesota Canine Club.
Motion to approve the issuance of a kennel license for a Minnesota Canine Club Limited Liability Company owned by John Hanson, located at 520 20th North Street, New Ulm, for the period beginning July 6, 2022, and ending June 30th, 2023.
Second?
We do have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion?
I will just comment, we did a ribbon cutting for John a couple weeks ago, and it's an impressive-looking business, and he seems to have a good plan for moving forward.
Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz.
Yes.
Oh, yay.
Welcome.
And President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 4.1, preliminary plot of Milford Heights 6th edition.
Good evening, Council President, Councilors. John Nisley, planner with the City of New Ulm. The preliminary plat being proposed here is 5.03 acres in size. This is the last property to be platted in the Milford Heights area and is located between the most recently platted Milford Heights 5th subdivision to the west and then Milford Heights 2nd addition to the east. The preliminary, or this plat will include 14 single-family lots, and I have a site map up here so you can understand where this is located. The Planning Commission did recommend approval unanimously with conditions at the June 30th, 2022 meeting. Those conditions, recommended conditions are: one, paying the plating fee of $595 with a base fee of $175 and a $30 per lot fee; to provide an electronic file of the plat in AutoCAD 2016 or newer format, and then to enter it into a development agreement with the city. That would conclude the staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Nisley.
One question for John. I caught the single-family dwelling.
Yep.
The new plat. Did normally in the past we do a development agreement we have to do?
Not always, but up in this subdivision, the Milford Heights edition, we've been doing development agreements because it has to do with things like setbacks and things like that. Because they were doing
These are totally different than the old, what I'm gonna call the old division on our housing, okay.
Correct.
I got it. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve with conditions the preliminary plot to the Milford Heights 6th edition.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Additional discussion?
I have something for John. John, I have three things for you. On the map that you were showing, we've got Haberly, I don't see it right anymore, but Haberly Drive,
Yep.
Beinhorn Avenue, and Fender Drive. What drives these different instead of street?
Instead of streets.
Everybody being street. Doesn't matter to me, but I wonder if there's a reason.
Planned out this Milford Heights subdivision, all those names were selected at that point in time. And they're named after, obviously, famous people that were, to the German heritage. So.
We still use that list, correct? The approved list?
On subsequent maps that I can't get to pull up here, make sure the names are the same, because Haberly is both an avenue and a street on one location, and Beinhorn on one map is Beinhorn Avenue, then it's Beinhorn Street. So get your act together.
Yeah, right. That's what happens when you have 4 different mapping systems working at the same time.
All right, I'll let you off the hook.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack? Yes. Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
And President Becker?
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 4.2, use of unplotted legal description.
All right. This is for an unplatted legal description that is for a property that is 9.2 acres in size. Currently, the property owner, Wakes Hilltop Acres LLC, is proposing to sell this property to MR Paving and Excavating. MR Paving and Excavating currently owns the land to the north, which we all know as the Walner Gravel Pit. This property, the unplatted property we're discussing here, is currently undeveloped and being farmed today. In some cases, the city has allowed for unplatted legal descriptions rather than platting immediately. In situations like this where it's large chunks of property, and the ultimate decision on what's going to happen on that property is still undetermined. So at the Planning Commission, they unanimously recommended approval of this unplatted legal description with conditions at their June 30th, 2022 meeting. They had 3 recommended conditions. One, that we have a resolution approving the request, and that will be filed with the Brown County Recorder's Office, and the appropriate recording fee will be paid. 2, an electronic file of the survey drawing in AutoCAD 2016 or newer will be provided to the City of New Ulm. And then 3, the property will be platted prior to the issuance of a building permit by the City of New Ulm for construction or construction-related activities on the property. And I'll leave the map up this time in case there's any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Nisley.
John, I assume this will be mined potentially? For
Potentially
materials?
it would be mined. There is about a 100-foot elevation drop from the unplatted property that we're discussing here down to the base of the Walner pit. So, if it is mined out, there will be grading to grade that out so it's not such a steep drop off in the future.
Okay. Is this area in particular part of our comp plan for coming up here?
This area would probably be considered in the airport development area. The airport is to the south and west just a little bit of this property.
Okay.
What? Northwest. Northwest? Okay. Yeah. Thinking true south. Sorry, Joe.
Being that any use of the property, whether building permit, construction, or open for mining, it'll come back to us. So I'm going to offer a resolution, waive the reading, approving the use of the unplatted legal description to facilitate the sale of the property legally described in attachment 1 of the staff report to the Planning Commission. Do we need that attachment 1 read in or not? Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Wormka?
Yes.
And President Becker?
Motion is carried. Thank you. Item number 4.3, a variance request, 1810 Oakwood Avenue.
All right. For a little bit of overview on this project, the applicant is proposing to construct a 10-foot, 5-inch wide, 60-foot long concrete slab to be located on the north side of their home for the purpose of parking a camper on their property. The slab is proposing to be 4 foot from the side property line. Our new zoning ordinance requires that any parking or driving lanes in a residential district like this, that it would be 5 feet from that side property line. The applicant says there is no access to the rear of the property other than driving through a side yard, and that is indeed true. There is no alley access on this property. There were no alleys platted when this was platted out. The request being made is a reasonable use of the property and will not change the essential character of the neighborhood. The variance being requested is the minimum amount necessary to alleviate the hardship. Again, the applicant is asking for a 1-foot variance. But this property is not unique to the neighborhood. In the Bushard second subdivision, none of the properties have alley access and are of similar shape to this property. At the Planning Commission, they recommended approval of the variance 4-1 in favor of the variance with conditions. The 2 recommended conditions are that 1, the applicant shall contact the city once construction stakes have been set for the placement of the concrete pad. And then 2, that the applicant shall pay the cost to record the variance with the Brown County Recorder's Office. I have a site map up here showing the location of the property highlighted in red. I also have an arrow pointing to that parking pad where the parking pad is being proposed on the property. That concludes the staff report.
One minor question. Is that a 5-foot easement up there or a 10-foot easement
Around the
for
property,
utilities?
Around the properties
Yeah.
is 5.
So were they given that notice that in the, not
Yep.
that it has, but that foot of concrete would be their responsibility?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You know, and at the Planning Commission meeting, you know, we addressed sidewalks can go closer. It's just that anything that you're going to be driving. And the individual stated, you know, the 8-foot width is going to make it easier to bring his camper or his ice fishing house to the rear of his yard. And that's one of the unique features to his, it's the only way to get access to his property. And we had come up and answer the 10 questions, you know, for the criteria to meet it in those capacities. So
The negative vote, or the, I guess, dissenting vote, what was there any reasoning beyond that, or was there,
he wasn't seeing anything that was unique to the property.
Okay.
You know, because all of the properties in that subdivision don't have access to their rear yard. But we don't have any other neighbors that are requesting to, you know, to try to build, say, a garage in his rear yard, if you wanted a driveway, rather than driving on grass or gravel. And not until we just changed our zoning did it go to a 5-foot
Right.
for a setback for a
You're
paved
probably going to
driveway.
see, you'll see more of these because the old ordinance, they could pour right up to the property line.
Yep.
Didn't have to come in for a variance or anything.
Yeah, so,
I have a question for our city engineer. Joe, with a future agenda item coming up here on stormwater, does that impervious pavement, is that going to play into excess water runoff? Or
Madam President, City Councilors, so the stormwater requirements, any land disturbance over 1,000 feet, a permit's required, but any treatment is required when there's an acre or more of disturbed area and/or impervious surface created. So
plenty good then.
something such as this, there will be no requirements for them to treat any stormwater runoff.
I'll offer a resolution, waive the reading to approve the variance request with the conditions by Nicholas Bry to allow a concrete parking pad to be constructed 4 feet from the side property line as described in the site plan, provided with the variance application on the property legally described as Lot 10, Block 1, Bushard Second Subdivision, street address 1810 Oakwood Avenue.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
And President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. Thank you. Item number 5.1, 2021 to 2023 ash planting in public rights of way.
All right, this item is to award the contract for the 2021 to 2023 ash tree removal and planting from the public rights-of-way to Leading Edge Landscapes with the base bid amount of $205 per tree for a total of $64,575. For a little bit of background here, this project consists of replanting trees to replace the ash that the city is contracting to remove from boulevard areas and specified areas of New Ulm. Again, specifically this grant round, we are going to be working on the east side of Broadway, working on German. We're going to be working on Valley, and then we're also going to be working on Front. For the most part, we're going to be able to remove all of the ash trees in the boulevard in those areas. The work will consist of planting of up to 240 boulevard trees, of which there are 7 different species being replanted. The bid does include staking, maintenance, and care for the trees 1 year beyond the planting date. All of the trees will need to be planted in the spring of 2023, since our contractor that was selected for removal is going to be doing all the removals this October. So, as previously authorized, the city staff has received and opened 4 bids on Wednesday, June 29th. For this contract, again, Leading Edge came in as the low bid. The next bid higher was Bellick Tree Service, and they were $221 per tree. These bids were originally sent out with the understanding and written language in the bid contract that if the bids come in high, that we're going to have to reduce the amount of trees that we're going to remove. Originally, we were hoping to remove 315 trees, but we weren't able to do that because the bids were a little higher than last year. So we're still able to remove 240 trees, and both the contractor removing the trees, tree story, and the contractor replanting the trees, Leading Edge, are okay with that number.
That includes stump removal all the way?
Great question. So the city has a 25% match requirement for this grant, and that match requirement that we did for the last grant and this grant, a large part of that is for the stump removal.
Perfect.
John, do we have a minimum, how many trees we want on a boulevard on each block? You know, if it's 9 a boulevard, or if we take 5 out on one block, we put 5 back in?
So,
Or, you know, do we balance it out?
great question. Every tree that we remove is replaced 1 for 1
Okay.
in that same block. Now, once in a while, we do get a request from a property owner that they don't want a tree replanted in that location, or there's something weird going on in the boulevard area that they think would be better in a different spot. What we'll end up doing then is either trying to find a spot a block or so down, or we'll put it in another city property like a park.
Okay.
I should note that the residents that are part of this project, they're being contacted twice by the city. We've contacted them already once saying your tree might be removed, and that once we get bids in and we select the contractors, we'll be sending them another letter confirming that we are indeed going to be removing their tree. So they'll have 2 chances to notify us if they don't want that tree removed prior to us doing that.
Okay.
And John, you said the bids were sent out to the local. Providers?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nisley.
Offer the motion to award the contract for the 2021-2023 ash tree removal from the public right-of-way to leading edge landscapes for the base bid amount of $205 per tree, totaling $64,575,000.
Second.
You guys are on top of it today. Motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
And President Becker?
Yes, that motion is carried.
Thanks.
Thank you. Item number 6.1, setting public hearing date for financing project by Highland Manor.
Did we skip
We
one?
skipped
I
it.
think we skipped
Sorry,
one.
yeah, sorry.
5-2.
5.2. It's sliding on me. Second consideration of ordinance 22-055, fifth series, amending chapter 5 liquor license and regulation.
Counselors, this is for that growler change to the law that will bring us up to date with with the state.
I'll make the motion to conduct the second consideration and adoption of ordinance number 22-055, fifth series, amending section 5 of the city code and adopting the new section 5.34 off-sale malt liquor license.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
And President Becker?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Now to 6.1, setting the public hearing date for financing project by Highland Manor.
Counselors, we were contacted regarding for Oak Hills, for them to sell debt using the city as not really a backer. The city ends up having no responsibility for this debt whatsoever, but it gives them the opportunity to use those tax benefits as part of their sale. So this is just setting the required public hearing for the sale of those bonds.
I'll offer the resolution, waive the reading to set a public hearing date for the financing of the project by Highland Manor Incorporated, doing business as Oak Hills Living Center under Minnesota Statutes, Chapter 469.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Will the hearing date, will that come back to us then as well? Or
Oh, it's not in there.
I noticed that it's not.
Can I
It is
just
July
pick,
19th at
Okay.
4:30.
and that with July 19th at 4:30, council chambers.
Second.
Motion and a second. Additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes. Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
And President Becker?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 6.2, the appointment to Cable Communication Advisory Board.
I'll offer the motion to appointment of Peg Sundell to the Cable Communication Advisory Board to fill the unexpired term of Paul Johnson.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
And President Becker?
Yes, welcome Peg. Item number 6.3, appointment to the Tree Advisory Commission.
I'll make the motion to approve the appointment of Paul Egeland to the Tree Advisory Commission to fill the unexpired term of Dr. Ellen Van Kira.
Second.
Motion and a second. Additional discussion?
Paul is a forester by profession. He's recently retired, and so he'll be
Perfect
perfect
spot.
for this, yeah.
Excellent. Any additional? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
And President Becker?
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 6.4, airport terminal roof replacement.
Madam President, City Councilors, staff solicited and received one bid to replace the roof of the terminal building at the airport. We had $22,000 budgeted for this roof replacement, and bid came in at around $20,500 to replace it with an architectural 30-year shingle. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Being that we did try to solicit bids from other contractors, I know they are all swamped. I'm just going to approve the bid from Design Home Center in the amount of $20,487.70 to replace the roof of the terminal building at the New Ulm Municipal Airport.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion?
I'm talking too much in this meeting, but it's all things I have to say. I worked up at Turner Hall on yesterday for the 4th of July Fest, and a man came up to me who I don't know, and he said, I hear that you're the mayor. I just flew in his personal airplane into your airport, and it's one of the best municipal airports I've ever come to.
And you didn't introduce us?
Really?
All right. Well, wonderful. Well, yes, I think that we're doing good things out at the airport. And any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
And President Becker?
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 6.5, City Snow and Ice Control Policy.
Madam President, City Councilors, the revisions to the snow and ice control policy, which the street department follows for snow removal operations, with the recent additions to the stormwater ordinance concerning salt storage, we needed to revise our snow and ice control policy along with another item coming later in the agenda. The additional language was added to the policy strictly about where we dump our downtown snow that's removed and how it's stockpiled and parameters that are included within the revised policy. So as far as policy changes or actual procedures that the street department follows, it doesn't change anything that they currently do, but added in the verbiage that we needed to so we comply with the new stormwater permit that the city received.
Thank you, Mr. Stadheim.
Joe, how often do we do this? Or is it
I
just
don't think-
something that came up?
Yeah, last time this was touched, I think, was back in the late 90s, when last time the policy was, it might have been sooner than that, but it's been a while since the policy's been up for revisions.
Thank you. Well, I'll offer a motion to adopt the revised snow and ice control policy.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
And President Becker?
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 6.6, request for proposals for stormwater utility fee implementation.
Madam President, City Councilors, back in February of 2021, I brought to a work session discussion on the implementation of a stormwater utility fee. So from that discussion at that work session, staff worked and developed a request for proposals to help with that implementation by a consulting engineering firm. So what we're asking for today is the authorization to send that request for proposals out, at which time, after the due date, staff would review and make a recommendation. This has no budgetary concerns at this time, as once we get those proposals back, we'll know what the prices look like and determine if it fits in with the budgeted amount for 2022. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
How far out do you go solicit for bids? I mean, there's probably not anybody local that does anything like this.
So Bolton and Minks, SCHs, ISGs of the world may or may not be interested. It depends on their workloads currently. I don't have the responses due until September 21st, so I gave them plenty of time to consider this proposal if they do want to submit a proposal for consideration. So I'm hoping with the drawn-out timeline, the actual completion date for this implementation would be December of 2023. So it's drawn out quite a long time, but that includes time for public informational open houses and public outreach and things of that nature as well. So,
And I'll just authorize a request for proposals to deliver the implementation of a stormwater utility fee.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
and President Becker.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 6.7, City Stormwater Manual Update.
This is the last one for me, Madam President, City Councilors. This update is the same salt storage verbiage that's added to our stormwater manual. That was based on the ordinance change that we went through last month. The added section is on page 20, which talks on salt storage requirements. And then we added a reconstruction stormwater treatment flow chart on page 44 in the appendices of the manual to assist design staff, city and consultant design staff with processes to use on city reconstruction projects.
I'll make the motion to adopt the revised stormwater manual.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
and President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 6.8, New Ulm Fire Department Services for Flying Dutchman Motorcycle Club Hill Climb.
One question before we get started. Did the city manager have a time from the last one we approved for the Brown County Fair to ask the newest city attorney if we got to keep bringing it back?
So currently, there is nothing that specifically states that council has to approve this in the charter, and it's just something we've always done. But my recommendation would be to allow the fire chief to make the determination. And what I would do is, when we have an event, just let city council know that we're sending fire out to a specific event.
We haven't disapproved one of these in 50, 60, 70 years. All right, so the next one, then. One question. The chief is okay with that? That you just got it? I'll authorize the New Ulm Fire Department Rescue Squad to provide services to the Flying Dutchman Motorcycle Club for their motorcycle hill climb on Sunday, August 28th, 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion?
Last one we're going to approve.
I'll concur with that because, the chief is, you need to let him do his job. So, yeah. Any additional discussion? All right, Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
and President Becker.
Yes, motion carries. All right. Item number 6.9, Police Department donations.
I'll offer a resolution, waive the reading to accept the monetary donation from Mary Ann Grunmeyer in the amount of $11 to be used to support National Night Out.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
and President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 6.10, first consideration of ordinance 22-056, fifth series, amending Chapter 5 liquor licensing and regulation.
Counselors, I hope this is the last of the liquor changes for a while, but this is just, it goes along with the growlers. It was in that same state law update, and the attorneys have been really good about helping us pick through and figure out what we need in our ordinance. So this is the first consideration in this. The biggest changes in here would be the license available for baseball, the extended hours during the World Cup, and there was one other one in there, I thought. I can't see it on mine.
It's just,
Oh, yeah, for the fairs, the 7-day thing, so. It just brings us up to date with the state laws.
Do you want them all read in for the first consideration?
No, just read the.
Okay. Just conduct first consideration of ordinance number 22-056, fifth series, amending section 5 of the city code and adopting new section 5.36, baseball on sale wine and malt liquor license, and 5.46, extended hours during World Cup, and updating sections 5.25, 5.34, and 5.42.
Second.
I'll second.
motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
and President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 6.11, set a public hearing date to set new liquor license fee.
counselors, this is related to all the changes again. There's actually just one fee out of all the changes that we need to have set, so we have to have the public hearing to do that. So that will be a fee for the off sale for the growlers. So the public hearing will be August 2nd at 4:30.
Come on,
Is
set a
that
public.
yeah,
oh,
I
go
was
ahead.
gonna
Go
say, is
ahead.
that a standard price, the fee, $300, or is?
Set that we suggested the $300 because that's where we set the off sale for the micro distillery as
Okay.
well.
Okay,
Just to be consistent.
Yeah.
so I was wondering. I'll make a motion to set the public hearing, or set public hearing date to set new liquor licenses fees for Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022 at 4:30 PM.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
and President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 6.12, schedule the canvass of the 2022 primary election.
This will be the Friday after that primary in August. We would just need the counselors and the mayor in attendance to canvass that. The elections for, actually just the mayor's office is the only one with the primary.
Approve the scheduling of the canvass of the 2022 primary election for Friday, August 12th, 2022 at 12 PM in the City Hall Council Chambers.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka, and President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. Item number 6.13, B&L Bar Alley closure for Bavarian Blast.
I know we've done it in the past, so offer the resolution, waive the reading to temporarily close the alley adjacent to the B&L Bar beginning at 5 PM on Friday, July 15th, 2022 until 11 AM Sunday, July 17th, 2022. Bavarian Blast celebration authorize the extension of the B&L Bar liquor license into the closed alley area on requested date, subject to conditions.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
and President Becker.
Motion is carried. Item number 6.14, overnight camping request.
Anything you want to speak on it, Tom, or just motion to approve it?
It's an interesting one.
Tom Schmitz, Park and Recreation Department. President Becker and counselors, this comes to us occasionally, maybe once a year, and the council has approved these types of requests in the past. Overnight camping is not allowed by ordinance, but you have allowed this for special instances for long boaters on the Minnesota River.
So if we actually had our primitive park already for the camping, they wouldn't even have to do this.
We do not have a municipal campground yet.
I'll offer the resolution, waive the reading to authorize one night of camping in Minicon or Riverside Park via canoe on a Tuesday, July 12th to Wednesday, July 13th, 2022 for Cliff Jacobson, Dick Pula, and Darrell Foss during a stop on their canoe trip down the Minnesota River to Fort Snelling.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion?
Yeah, Tom, it says renowned outdoor writer and guide Cliff Jacobson. Is that something worth our, like, getting the chamber to, well, Clay, cover those guys? I think that
Come
could
on,
be
Clay.
that'd be a neat story, I would imagine.
Yes.
Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
and President Becker.
Yes, that motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schmitz. Item number 7.1, report of claims paid.
I think the last one is Counselor Schultz's.
I'll offer a motion then to accept the list of claims paid in the amount of $2,014,098.92
Second.
with the echo.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Director Jorgensen, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Warmka,
Yes.
and President Becker.
Yes, that motion is carried. With no additional business, today's meeting is adjourned.
All right then.